You're all set? Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the first planning board meeting of 2025. Before we get started with normal business, I've had a request to move two things around on the board. Agenda tonight is Mr. Eric Batesall. Would you mind if we put you on second instead of first? Might be a half hour or so. We've got another item on the agenda, and I think we want to free up the time of one of the attorneys here, okay, who made an extra effort to be there. Okay, that being said, Cheryl, we're going to move 3022 Rich Schoolhouse Road for a second. Okay, now to go into my act here. Fire exits are out the door to the left, it's probably the closest, or down the end of the hall. There's an AED out on the wall if needed. It can be used. At this time, I'd like everybody who has not shut off any cell phones, pagers, or anything else, so the people that are having to do a presentation aren't interrupted by calls and leaves and stuff. So, you have it, turn them off. Okay. And with that, you want to call the roll, Cheryl?
Sure. Sharon Sliderwall. Here. Steve Law.
Here.
Dave Martin.
Here.
Chris Schleider.
Here.
James Nesbitt.
Here.
Ed Nelson.
Here.
Steve Pittman.
Here. Very good. We didn't have a December meeting because Santa Claus said there wasn't any items to look at, so we didn't have it. So there's no meeting minutes to approve. Do we have to approve the minutes of November because we didn't have a meeting? Just wanted to say. Okay, with that being said, we're going to move to, this is more of a sketch plan, preliminary discussion, because there's been some changes or would be changes to ownership of an ongoing subdivision that was approved years ago as a preliminary plan. Okay, so tonight, North Coast Ventures LLC is represented by Mr. Stefano and Mr. Giraldo from Landtech, formerly Ladue Eschbau Associates. Just because I'm being nice doesn't have anything to say with, I've known you guys for a long time. So,
Yeah.
don't let it sway anyway.
Fortunately, the edge is one thing, too.
Oh geez, sorry, I got my red pen.
Wasn't sure you had somewhere
You know, I
Not
last,
bad, so, Rob.
my last pick, red pen finally ran out of ink, so I had to try to. A quick overview, Rick, about this section, and you might want to ask a few questions about the overall issue.
Sure. Sure, Richard Giraldo, Land Tech, and Joe Sixino is here as well from North Coast. So this is Hamlin Meadows, written for Section 4. The preliminary plat overall was approved back in 2008. So this is just the next section, which is typically a final plat approval. We've already been through a preliminary, it's typically a final plat approval. It's been a while since we've been doing it, so I think Mr. Slater wanted us to just, make sure, bring the board back up to speed Sections 1 through 3 have already been constructed, and that's the main road coming in. Section 4 I've outlined and the overall in the paint color, so we're really in for section 4. The plans comply with the overall preliminary in all respects except one, and that is this section is not going to be a condominium association. It's going to be single lots for sale, again, for seniors. There will be an HOA created, take care of the same facilities that the other residents enjoy in the project, just that they're going to actually own their own lot. It's really conducive to the condos. It's not really sanctioned by the Department of State for this type of project, and it's always been a headache every time it's gone through the process to have a condo association form. So really the only difference is we've added some property lines. We did take one lot out, as shown here, lot 82 on the overall we took out, so we actually have one lot left. We only have 19 lots left. Other than that, utilities are just being project. That lane gets completed a little bit further. The next section, which would be section 5, will connect up with the front and make a nice loop for easy access for everybody. Other than that, I guess we'll open up the project.
Real quick, just so we heard from you, the original concept on a preliminary had how many dwellings on it?
Nothing's changed in terms of the numbers.
70, 73.
More than that. So I've got lots up to 131.
So we're only going down by one lot.
Correct.
Okay. Like I said, this isn't a public hearing, of which we'll most likely have to have one for split. Okay. It's the sketch plan to find out where we gotta go next. Okay. And what other things need to be done in order to make it a fact. Gene, no issues here for conservation. JP, you had some comments. I don't know if you had a chance to share with.
Yeah, I did copy Rick with my comments. And I apologize, I'm looking at my phone because I printed my letter out and left it on the printer.
Would you like a copy?
No, I can read it.
Well, I have a copy right here. It's got your name.
That's okay. I'll make it. Okay, so, they're very minor comments, just mostly relating and updating because of the time that's elapsed, and the minor change. My first note was that there was a general note regarding being built, meeting the development regulations in 1997. Those were updated in 2008, so we requested that note be revised. There was also a general note, number 14 on the front cover sheet, discussing filing as a condo association with the county clerk, which again, that would become irrelevant, I believe. A few of the details reflect the update of the development regulations, so there's a few of the details on plan sheet 5 that need to be updated. The stormwater pollution prevention plan, there's been changes in the state requirements, and I just would like to revisit those with Rick, making sure we're staying compliant as the project progresses. And ultimately, this will be dedicated roads and sidewalks and et cetera, water lines and sewers, so we'll need a letter of credit prior to final, establishing the amount prior to final approval. And, final plans will need to be stamped and signed. Including my own new items.
Okay. As to significance of changes, are any of the changes significant in nature?
No, everything in the preliminary plat, the water supply, the drainage design, the sewer design is all right in line, the roadway connections, everything's in line with what was planned on the preliminary.
Okay. Mr. O'Toole has recused himself from this portion of the meeting as he represents the applicant. There's nothing wrong with that. He has the right to play it straight, so. We have the town attorney here tonight. She might have a couple comments or have some questions.
Well, from what I've seen, what I've looked at, I just want to make sure that this was still a senior citizen district, and I want to make sure that it's just 55 and older that are going to be living here. Because I have safety concerns with the front lots where 55 and older are all living. We have trouble now in our subdivisions controlling speed. If we got single families homes in here and young families are moving in, that's going to be a problem for our senior citizens.
No, it stays the same zoning, same.
That really was my biggest concern. And JP's looked at the map. And it appears that it was already given preliminary approval, so I'm okay with that.
Back to the committee. It would seem to me, just as a general comment, that as an HOA, the prospectus would state that there is to be a senior community. Okay. Is that enforceable?
Yes. And our town code says also, that's what I was looking at. The town code says that 80% have to be, residents have to be 55, they're senior citizens. So 55.
I just want to make sure both ends of that's, okay, the original discussion we've had with applicants have been that would be the, what we'd be hanging our hat on, so. Okay, Cheryl, what this thing?
No problem.
These are general comments, but we would use that as part of scheduling any public hearing or anything. Little things that might need to be just, polished up a little bit, some shit.
I always look for the other way out.
It's common, that the original design showed. So. Steve?
There's no, the only thing on here on your sheet, I noticed that you say the stormwater permit won't become effective till January 29th, 25. That's already in effect.
No, it becomes,
There's a new permit.
I have the new permit. I'm the stormwater manager
Yeah.
for my,
but it's been released, but the effective date is January 25th, 29th of this month. So the old permit is expiring and the new permit's effective on the 20th.
I think different, but that's irrelevant to this, but because I've already had to do, sorry, for the permit, the 6 months deliverables, all that stuff. I already had to do all the new things for the new permit.
Yeah, they update it every 5 years, I believe it is, so
Yeah.
we're right at the end of the one cycle.
I think the calendar-wise, it didn't lend itself well to, 4 months ago, sending all that stuff into the town to look at. But it will be enforced, that's what.
Yeah,
has to happen.
more or less, that's my only point.
Yeah, the new permit will be enforced.
It'll be-
Yeah, so the state has changed how they're doing the new permit. We have to reapply for all projects, even ones that have permits for 20 years. So that's a new activity, and there's supposed to be a sheet outlining to do that. And of course, they don't have the sheet.
They don't have the sheet outlined.
The wonderful New York State, there's the law, but you and I thought you can't comply with it because we don't have anything posted to let you do that. But we're aware of that. And we'll take that.
Dave?
Are the other sections gonna be following the same format?
I don't know how well this goes.
You're gonna
yeah.
squeeze them in and
Yeah, so he's buying section at a time, and we'll develop it one section at a time.
what are the house dimensions gonna be?
Because
I don't have house dimensions yet, so what I'll probably do is have half a dozen homes that we've done in the past, going anywhere from 1,350 square foot to maybe 1,700 square foot. We just finished a project, just recently for our last 3 units, in the village of Churchville. They were townhomes, but, they were 1,500 square foot, 1,660. We did very, very well, basically for our senior community. And so
I know your lots are, you got some that are only 65 feet,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I mean,
Our homes will
how
comply.
how wide are the houses gonna be?
Our 40 foot, 45 feet, they'll comply.
Yeah,
Yeah, our townhomes they're 80 foot in width, okay?
yeah.
So each half, and they're duplexes, they're 40 foot each. So they're a little deeper, not as wide.
But these are all single family.
They're gonna be single family. Yeah, we've built those as single family homes also.
And then you're gonna have a homeowners association too?
We will have a homeowners association. It basically is gonna ditto the first 3 sections. We're gonna offer lawn mowing, and snow plowing. That is it, nothing else,
I
no
mean, you're not
maintenance.
gonna tell the people, you can't plant this flower, you can't put a swing up on that tree.
Well, there's gonna be stipulations.
That's why I don't like those.
Now,
Because you got.
I have to respect,
It's just,
people in those first 4 phases.
mm,
So I'm gonna look at that, I've talked to the attorney, but basically very similar to the first, 3 phases.
you put a lot of clamps on them and then right away they can't even go out and,
I got you.
dig a hole and put a bulb in the ground, you know?
I got you.
Yeah.
There'll be stipulations, I don't want any pools in there and stuff like that. And the purpose is, we'll have, people mowing on a weekly basis, so you start getting things like that, it just becomes more and more expensive. So the objective is, to have a reasonable, number monthly, take care of the snow plowing and, lawn maintenance.
So they won't have to do any lawn mowing then?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is that what the other ones are doing now too?
Yeah.
In that,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So it's worked out well. I've been, building for the past 41 years, probably been doing ranches, seniors, probably for the past 25 years, throughout Monroe County. And again, we're just finishing up in Churchville. JP did all the engineering there, and it turned out wonderful whenever we were licensed. We look forward to doing work in the town of Hamlin.
Mhm.
A couple of things, first one, the first letter you sent out, right off the bat, it says you're purchasing this. The question I have for a town attorney, it's gonna be purchased, isn't that a subdivision?
No. Subdivision is subdividing the lots, lots are already subdivided.
The existing lots are subdivided, but there's gonna be a different title on the deed? Is there gonna be a different name on the deed?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a subdivision.
It's already been subdivided, correct? It's already been subdivided.
Yes, it's been subdivided in 2008. Dave Martin,
Right,
Chris
so
and
he's
myself all sat here.
They're changing one of the lots, correct? The plat here is slightly different than the approved.
So it is a good point being brought up, because we have one remaining property, right, that covers the undeveloped land. These are separate lots, it's a condo, but now we're gonna buy a piece of this remaining land. I guess I'm gonna leave it up to the attorneys to figure out, yeah, you're right.
Like just,
We're gonna
yeah,
buy a
don't
piece of
wanna get stuck with it when you said you're purchasing this.
Yeah, and I think
So you're
that,
purchasing that, you're taking my wheat field,
right,
putting oats in, that's basically the same thing, but we just.
the lots already subdivided.
Well,
Lots.
No, because in the previous condo association, these are all on a common lot
Okay,
as a condo association.
okay,
These are gonna be individual lots, so what we
Alright.
have in front of us is a plat
okay,
to subdivide these individually,
okay, so it hasn't been subdivided yet.
not in this manner.
So we're gonna subdivide this section off of the other,
Right, and then all of these, whatever number of lots,
Okay.
19 lots.
Let me interject, because the confusion lies with the word subdivision and how it's meant. Okay, you have a subdivision of a large lot. When this originally came in, it became a piece of property with subdivision sections in it. Stop me if I'm wrong. It had section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5. That was the original subdivision of that property. Okay? The number of dwellings is changed by 1. The subdivision of that section will be covered by a final plat that's taken to the county of Monroe and it's accepted by the county surveyor. So yes, to answer your question, it is a subdivision. Okay, but that's a natural progression when you have a multi-lot major subdivision and you're purchasing sections. Okay. Does that answer any of your questions? To a certain extent.
I just wanted to
Bring it
I
out.
just wanted to just bring it out and make sure it's in the minutes, so.
I would probably have, never mind.
The second thing that I had, I'm concerned about the group of people that have already purchased homes. They figure they're in a senior development, and now you're giving us different types of homes. So there's not gonna be any two-story houses,
No, they're all ranches.
they're all ranches. Okay.
They're all gonna be ranches, the only different is, I'm not gonna go before the state and condo rate. I've talked to attorneys, and the attorneys who originally did it. It's basically a loophole to get through there, and in the state of New York, will make me jump through hoops to, reapply for this. So that's the only difference, they are all ranches, nothing but ranches.
But you've got all the houses that are pre-existing, all the houses that are there now, those people are all paying a fee or dues to get their lawn mowed, and they think they've got some rights, and now you got another ballgame.
Well, they do have rights. All their rights are maintained on their association.
they do have rights to their own association.
Right.
This is gonna be a whole nother association.
But the developer, when this first started out, the state law at the time was the developer has the association, he runs the association until it gets up to where it's 50% complete, and then the private people can start it. I don't think they have an association.
I have no idea,
I don't know.
They have a
We're gonna put
condo
association
association.
together.
they
It'll be
have,
For you folks, it'll be association, but the people that are already there.
There's an association.
there's a condo
There is an
association.
association, and they know this is coming.
Yes, there,
Well, we couldn't sell a single unit without an association first.
Without
Everybody
the
that's built is in an
Yeah.
association.
Okay.
And the original ones are condos, so they get a tax break.
right.
These
right.
homes will not have the condo tax break. That's only the really difference between the two associations.
And if, to convolute this even more, I don't know who was around back with this original. Beeler originally proposed this in form just like this, with individual lots, and then he came back during the approval process and decided to switch over to condo association for the tax purpose.
Yeah.
Which benefited him in his pricing on his houses, but it was adversely impacted the amount the town collected in taxable property. So in any event. So this was, the original plat, I believe, was broken up into all individual lots, and then the condos flipped it over.
Okay, I'll tell you that, Frank.
This to bring a little levity into it, bring everybody back to square one, 'cause it's almost a half an hour. Comments I had, the Rick, and, you can have this if you're not. Storm and sanitary manhole barrels, lights. The storm's fairly shallow. Okay. And it's pretty close to the same elevation or just a little bit higher than what the sanitary is. Not a problem.
1.5.
Laterals are gonna be in the same, within the same profile area as the water main across the street. And you're losing that altitude as you go across the street. Bear in mind that, and whoever makes the manhole barrels, make sure they leave enough room for a 10 or a 12-inch frame on the top, or if they don't take into account that frame, okay, you're gonna have a thin, nickel frame, cast iron frame, and the lawn's not gonna grow. Okay, so it's just a turnaround, snowplow turnaround for town code, okay? I see you have a dirt, I see a dirt balloon, berm on the end of it. And there's also, there's gonna be a spot there where there's gonna be a blow off that we can turn around. Make sure it's staked properly so that the town truck coming in there and swinging, don't hit it, knock it off. All right, but other than that, JP and the discussions we had here tonight go a long ways towards a complete enough application. I guess at this point in time, Maureen, would it be proper if they were able to get everything taken care of when in a month's time they could show up for a public hearing on final?
Sure. Maybe everything done?
You feel confident enough that you'd be able to
All the other
present?
agencies, all the other agencies will be able to.
Okay. So with that being said, based on the information provided here tonight, would someone like to make a finding? And I don't know if we had a proper seeker the last time, in 2008, we might have.
You would most certainly, to do preliminary, you would have had.
Okay, I would hope so. I don't have the record.
Yeah, we typically don't do a separate secret. It's not
Seeker should be for the
overall.
whole thing.
Right, it's not the overall.
Okay. I'd just like to know if there was a secret determination, because it was 11 years ago, what it reads. And if we can, that can be provided. I'd still like to try to schedule these folks for a public hearing, seeing all the preliminaries have been done years ago. I don't know what we may have in our files, or,
I think I did find that and sent a copy. And
well,
did I
if you could
email
just.
it to you, Cheryl? Emailed you a couple of times.
I don't remember getting anything like that. I know I was looking to see if I minutes for 6 years.
Yeah, the minutes are, so I don't know, JP, do you,
I could look through my old records.
if you had a preliminary, there should have been a secret.
You have to have secret done in order to do preliminary. Because if you're not looking at the entire project, you're segmenting your secret review. So it had to have all been done for the entire project.
Okay. Well, if there's a way to verify it for the record, I'd like to be able to retrieve that, but I still would like to try to schedule these folks, because of the type of subdivision and sections just keep going. The subdivision like this has a life of its own over it. I've dealt with some that have been 20 years old with 10 sections. So, it's not on the order. So would someone like to make that request or resolution?
I'll make a motion for the application North Coast Ventures LLC, Hammond Meadows, Section 4, to go to public hearing, but I'm not quite sure the date.
Or February.
February 3rd.
Call the roll, please.
Thank you. Okay, Sharon Steigerwald,
Yes.
Steve Law,
Yes.
Dave Martin,
Yes.
Chris Schleider,
Yes.
James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Hittner.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Thank you. Your homework. Good to see you back in, town of Hamlin again. Okay. Thanks for bearing with us, Aaron. Next item on the agenda is special use permit, 2022 Brick Schoolhouse Road. Okay, let's get this closer. See, we can get all our paperwork in order here. But once again, I want to thank you. Because it could have been a little bit
No,
longer.
but
It's still like. Okay. All right.
You later.
Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome. For karma.
I haven't heard about it yet.
Okay.
Was it an invite tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, they need you.
It's just like kids. Okay. Brief description of what we're doing here at 3022. I know you had a letter, like a letter of intent and some other stuff here, but the other people were present.
So basically, me and my wife have a horse farm. We were approached by a nonprofit called Before the Last Call, which is a horse therapy program for veterans, first responders, and their families for free. They wanted us to be the house or the home for them. So we have the space and we have the horses. They want to come in and utilize our space to teach lessons and do this therapy. So we just want to make sure all our ducks in a row, and we want to make sure we're doing it right. So coming before you guys to make sure to see what I need to do and what else needs to be done to be able to run this nonprofit out of our house.
Okay. Before we do the round robin, how many horses do you need to run a business?
So just the therapy, well, I have 4.5 horses myself, and then the program founder has 2 horses himself, so we have 6.5 horses altogether. I say half because we have a mini, and he's like 200 pounds.
I was gonna ask you.
That's a big therapeutic.
This federally funded or internationally funded
No,
organization?
this is just a 501(c)(3) through New York State. It's brand new, they just got their paperwork done this past year. So we're in the process of filing grants to actually get a revenue stream. So right now, I'm pretty much just donating my property and my horses so we can get stuff running.
KP, before I go back to me, you had some comments.
Yeah, it's basically 2 minor engineering concerns that I just want to bring up. The pond and the stream that leaves the pond in the back are on the federal wetlands inventory and they're on the town's conservation overlay district map. So while we're going through this process for him for the SUP, I just recommended we're within 200 feet of that. So it would require a conservation development permit as well as the special use. So that's all handled with this board, so just so we know that. The sketches provided, it's difficult to discern what the actual setbacks will be for the new building. So for Cheryl's benefit and during the building permit process, a sketch with a little more detail on what the setbacks provided are. It appears the existing stable and the proposed arena are in front of the front line of the existing house. So I just was questioning whether, if we have the setbacks, we can discern whether a variance would be required for this additional arena, or if it could be moved back a little bit to avoid. But without a well-scale drawing that's a little difficult to discern.
The barn has, the barn that's there now, has been there since 1993. And,
Pre-existing,
right, and there was a fire there years ago, in the barn that was closer to the road.
Yep.
So that is not even there anymore. There's just a couple things here, is that, you have 6.4 acres, so you're allowed 2 adult horses for 5 acres, and then if you have an extra like 1.4 acres, you're allowed to have 1 other adult horse. So you're basically allowed to have 3 adult horses on the property. I think if you were going to, I wish Maureen had stayed, but I think you would have to get the variance, because you're going to have to,
The neighbor across the street from us gave us 3 acres of lot, of pasture space, that we fenced out for the horses as well.
that is true. How does that, is there a contract for that kind of use?
No, he was
Word
letting a farmer use it for hay, and he said that he enjoyed watching my horses more, so he said put up a fence and let the horses run across the street, and he's unhappy, he loves it, so.
Yeah, oh, I can imagine, but, so, right now you have like 6.5 horses? They are allowed. How many acres is across the street?
3 acres.
So that's only 3 acres, so it's not really conjoined into your acreage?
I thought it was 1.5 acre per 1 horse, and then additional half acre per additional horse after that.
For, 5 acres, you can have 2 horses. And for 6 acres, you can have an extra horse.
Is,
1 acre per horse after 5.
Yes, yes, yes.
2.5.
Mhm.
I'll go back to feet.
Excuse me, my concern, building of JP's comments, is that the mapping submitted is just too vague. That's pretty much it.
You don't wanna weigh in the number of that horses.
No. JP educated me on quarter horses, so I'll just leave it at that.
2/4 horse.
We don't do road trips, we don't do road trips from here, I don't care what you guys want, I'm sorry.
So does a mini horse count as an adult horse?
I kinda, because this was a tape location that provided, or an instrument survey, that is a few years old. I looked at the 121-foot setback you're asking for between the barn and the property lying to the east. Basically having that, and you put a 60-foot circle in there someplace, you got maybe 10 feet either side to meet the 50-foot setback on the side, okay? So once again, a little bit more correct of a drawing to scale, okay? Would be in order, but I think that between JP and the board attorney here, the amount of correctness and what would be appropriate, what we've done in the past. The board in all cases, and I will speak for everybody here, tends to like it, rehab facilities and anything we can do to bring our warriors home a little bit more comfortable. So I want to see where we want to go with this.
Do we want to?
I would, if we would accept an addition to their plan, in their agenda,
we have the agenda won't go till tomorrow or
Okay.
Thursday. So we could get it in on the 21st.
And then in the meantime, maybe you could work on something a little bit more to scale, all right? Whether you use a land planner and an engineer, because we're not looking at drainage at this time, are we?
I mean,
Are we looking at manure piles?
yeah, but it
Okay,
doesn't look different than what Century can what
okay.
he's doing.
But there are some codes in our code about the care and maintenance of horses. Okay, so I would direct you back to Cheryl for some of those issues you might have, where you're gonna put your manure. Where's it gonna run off? Is this gonna run off into not run off into your pond and then into a wetland? Is it, you know, is it stored someplace and then used for fertilizer? Okay, maybe in a neighbor's field or whatever, you know?
Chris, should you also have some distances to the neighbor dwellings?
Well, yeah, that's, you know, your neighbor's property, I don't, is there, yeah, there is a house right to
The
the.
house next door, yes, I think we discussed it, we had like 50 feet.
I believe it was like between like 40 and 50 feet from
Yeah,
the
I
property
think I
line.
read that someplace in your document.
So like the manure pile has to be, what, 200 feet from
Well,
the
the
dwelling?
thing is, there's always been horses there for like 40 years.
So is there pre-existing that conforming use, you know?
For manure?
I haven't even,
I have, you know, all I have is like.
I don't want, I'm not gonna get accused of swearing, no matter how hard you make me try to.
I'm also trying to make this up, but there's a variance for a 24-foot east front variance, is that there? So we'll go, I think, smart would go to zoning next.
I would think so,
Mhm.
but before a permit is issued, which would have to be at our next meeting, that some of these questions might have to be answered.
Correct.
Okay, and now I'm gonna go through the rest of the board, Sharon.
Right, I mean, issues are that I mean, I want this to happen, I just, I don't know how it's going to happen.
Steve?
My only question would be whether if the horse has been there forever, would it be considered pre-existing non-conforming, or they get it as a variance for the number of horses, because you're allowing them in a pasture across the street, you're technically not keeping them there. You're probably stabling them over at your place, right?
Yeah, they're stable in their stalls, and then
Yeah, so you're technically keeping them on your property, even though you're allowed to use the pasture. I would think the safe bet would be a variance for the number of horses, that way nobody can come at you later. You know what I mean? I truly think it's a great thing, 'cause I know a gentleman who used to do that down on the end of, Hudson Carmel.
I believe I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah, yeah, I did, I built the lean-tos for him.
I used to bring veterans there a couple of years ago
Yeah.
before he retired.
Yeah. And it was a great thing, it was a great thing for the veterans, so, I mean, we really want this to happen, I'd like to make sure you do it the right way, so nobody can come in and, you
That's,
know.
that's why I'm here, so.
Yeah,
Let's say basically the same thing, we could go before the zoning board, ask for a variance.
Okay.
Cheryl can help you.
No, I'm good, I think you asked your neighbor, to write you up a nice little letter, and you can sign it.
Absolutely, I can have that.
Yeah, just, to take it with you to the zoning board. This is Adam White.
Who's the lawyer?
We could do a letter from Fred
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a letter from Joshua.
Yeah, yeah, and then, that way you got your neighbors for when you're going. Stuff in the zoning board.
The only other concern I guess I would have would be parking. You have 6 horses, you're gonna have at least 6 different vehicles there, maybe more, relatives coming to.
I don't think there's gonna be 6 lessons, like, this is just like one-on-one, or a couple people coming on, we'll grab 1 or 2 horses at a time. Like, the 60-foot arena, that safely could do 2 horses at one time without being too clustered. So it would only be 1 or 2 horses while the other horses relax and get some
I'd like to see this happen. Those directions you know, and by having, and do what you can do to build it, man.
Okay, we have a motion to push this on the zoning and have it be considered, and have it considered next month.
I'll make a motion for the application for Eric Batesel, 3022 Brick Schoolhouse Road, to go to zoning for a variance and to be held open until next month.
Second.
February 3rd.
Seeker requirements after the next meeting.
Yes.
The next meeting. Very good, thank you very much. Hope we need a group.
Take a vote.
Sharon?
Yes.
Woody Wood,
Yeah.
Steve Ross,
Yeah.
Dave
Yeah.
Martin, Chris Schleider,
Yes.
James Smith,
Yes.
Ed Nelson,
Yes.
Steve Pittner.
Somebody second it?
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda, Mr. John Bell, 6314 Shore Acres Drive. How we doing today?
Good, how are you?
Not bad. Okay. Other Conservation Board Development, is this the CHA?
Yes, it is. Yes. So we had this application, which is considered, we might spoke about it.
Right.
It's a Technical difficulty. We want to, remove a portion of that dwelling and add a new addition onto the dwelling. So this, their, proposal, along with Mrs. Carpenter's proposal, was giving, practical difficulty. It comes to the health concern, so they're coming to planning board first, and then we can make your decision based on the approval of the board on the 21st.
Brief description, because from what I see in what was sent in for 6314, and Vance Road Associates Instrument Survey map, pretty much shows the existing building. Okay? And from what the application says, you want to demolish a portion of the west side of the 1.5 story frame house.
Correct.
Okay? How much of a portion and how much different is it going to stick out from what this instrument survey map is?
The main house is, 29 feet. The main house is 28 feet wide, and then the addition with 2 bedrooms are about 8 or 9 feet wide. That'd be on the west hand side. And that's the part that we're going to tear down. About 36 feet.
So on your instrument survey map, okay, maybe you could approach it. Okay, you're showing some dotted lines on here. It's where the existing structure don't meet your grade and everything. And the mouse is right.
This is the main house. This is
Right. So how far out does it go?
the addition that we're planning on putting on.
Yeah.
There's gonna be about a 6-foot wide corridor gap, and then the addition will be here, 8 feet wide. So, if you have a set of plans,
Well,
We don't have a set of plans, all we have is an outline of
no, that's
the
fine.
generic diagram.
Yeah.
I understand. This is here.
the floor plan, everything there.
That's a floor plan. Okay? And what I need for us to make a decision is how far over this goes, all right? And actually show the addition. We're not seeing it here. We just seen dash lines here. Okay, let me see what the scale is. So how far out did you say you were gonna go, 20?
Yeah, here, instead of 20 feet from where the width is at, here. So it should be, in the garage, here, it should be about 5 feet or so from the existing garage. What's that wall in the garage?
We need to mark that out. You're thinking over that frame landing?
That's what we remove, that's a deck, that's a second floor.
So basically, without giving real, this is the way it's gonna be, this is gonna be. So,
It'll be set back, it's not gonna be flush with the.
well, that's not good. What we need to know is what is the side setback here? Well, what are the side setbacks here, Cheryl?
Pardon me?
What are the side setbacks?
6 feet.
6 feet?
On lots less than 150 feet wide, side setbacks are 6 feet.
Looks like we should be all right. What I would suggest is take it down to the GP at the end there, or an engineer, and have them just look what, just a rough red line about how far out they're gonna go.
Yeah, I kind of gathered from this floor plan, I had an idea, but you're right, it still doesn't give us what that actual side setback is. So if we had this drawn to scale with that setback dimension shown, that would help us.
Okay, so we're gonna need a,
At least improve from what we had presented to this point, something along lines.
Excuse me, not that I'm gonna direct them to any particular surveyor, whomever they wanna work with, whether it be Pass or otherwise. It would be nice to see proposed location with dimensions, with setbacks called out. And with respect to the gentleman, he's not a surveyor, and
Right.
I'd like to see it called out,
right,
by a surveyor.
but there's time to do that before they come back here, right, Cheryl?
Yes.
Can I throw something else in the mix, Chris?
Yeah.
With Christmas holiday and Cheryl was sick, I didn't get the application to do the inspection till Friday, so I screwed out and did a brief inspection. And then I thought about it over the weekend and I went back with a tape measure. And this house is located in the structural hazard area. And according to the LWRP, a major non-movable addition to an existing permanent structure shall not be permitted in the structural hazard area. And it's on my sheet. So I did a second review.
Okay.
But the fact that there is that you can see in the photograph, there's a break wall, there's all those rocks. I don't know whether that affects, because some of these things that were written in the LWRP were before, everybody went through and put in all the, the erosion protection in front of their houses along the lakefront, so I don't know whether that affects the recession rate, which in this case is about anywhere from 1.5 to 1 foot to 1.5 foot every year of recession, so I don't know whether that changes anything, I don't know.
Cheryl, do we have any new CHAT regulations for this? Do they have to go to,
Oh, yeah, they will have to go to zoning.
zoning board?
Yes, they do.
And they can if there's a variance needed, they can okay it. And there's, it keeps these people still in line, okay?
Well, keep them
For
pretty much
approval.
in line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just need to have your instrument location that shows what you want to do.
Okay, so I get to get a
Proposed
survey,
condition,
I have to get a surveyor out there.
unless you can get Hasbro to do it, it's, it's not our rules, it's the state of New York rules.
So you have a new survey prepared by Casper,
Mm-hmm.
and you have what your dimensions are gonna be. There's nothing new for them to survey, could extrapolate your architectural plan onto the plan they have and determine what those proposed setbacks will be. But it wouldn't require another field survey to be done, because there's nothing new to survey.
I agree with that. I mean, that's essentially what a site plan is in essence anyway.
Right.
It shows what you're thinking.
But if you're in a hazard zone, whether,
Hmm?
but if you're in a hazard zone, doesn't acceptable to zone.
You
Well-
would foresee that.
And this one, I don't have any building plans for the house. Is it going to be, is the addition going to be on pilings, or is it going to be, dig down through blocks?
It's gonna be a foundation, a block foundation.
Well, it says a major non-movable addition to an existing permanent structure. But that's a good question. Is that structure a permanent structure, or is it all on pilings?
The existing
Yes.
house is on pilings.
So it's not a permanent, considered a permanent structure. Is that how we would look at it?
Right, I mean, it's a movable structure that had to be moved.
Yeah.
So this can be ironed out on this zoning meeting, see that discussion, correct?
But if there
Per
is,
definition,
yeah, but if there are also, any variances required, they would give you the next month, and then you would see them after that.
well, if most of these places
We'll
have,
discuss this with you.
right, he's already has 12 point some feet, so he's not changing that. So,
We just need a minimum of 6 feet from the lot.
right, they don't have more than that.
Mhm.
But you need to do a sketch plan for them of some sort, or talk to Passwell. Okay, just added that, which should have probably been added before we look at it. Okay. One of the reasons why we look at things ahead.
How about drainage? Through the effect of the drainage running out to the lake? Where does the water from the neighbor run to?
I don't know.
Well, the setback, that minimum existing side setbacks go in 7 feet, so we're gonna have all of that.
So whatever's
Provided
there,
they don't change the elevation or anything with the addition.
Right. But presumably, well, I guess that'd be easy enough to say is preserve existing grades or something
how do we satisfy your problem with the two different types of construction? No, these two applications came to us as an addition and normal because of concerns for health and wellness.
Well, we did this not for this one.
No,
This one,
but-
we did it for
Right,
timely fashion because of the winter, the weather.
right.
Mhm.
But the other one, I think it's for a generator,
Yes,
if I'm not correct,
you
for
are.
something that's, it's in need of
Right.
24/7 services.
No, I'm saying for the
The movable
The
versus
move- the
non-movable.
non-movable.
Built
There's
out.
a movable and non-movable, it still exists.
And the fact that there's a garage there's not a garage on Highland.
But is the garage far enough away from the lake so it's not in the?
I doubt it.
season?
I doubt it, I believe, that the whole thing is coastal hazard area.
Mhm.
The structural hazard. I looked up it and they said it's determined as you multiply the recession rate 540. And that's how far it has to be from the natural protected feature. So it has to be anywhere between maybe 40 and 50 feet from the beach, which you can't find because the rocks are there, but, so the garage may be far enough back.
The garage is 20.71 feet from where the rocks start. So there's only 21 feet from the garage.
No.
No,
No, that can't be right.
no, that's not right. It looks like it's closer to about 50 feet.
I have this, I did this, in your map. Here's the garage right here. And if you go from here to there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm seeing.
That garage has gotta be 60, 70 feet
From,
from the water,
From the what?
from the water.
Yeah.
When you look at
Water
it.
level is garage.
look at the rock.
The garage
Look
is,
at, see here, see what
I'm
they-
gonna say,
Oh, no, you guys are, no, you guys are
70
totally
feet.
Yeah,
correct.
I'm saying 70 feet.
It's like 60 or 70 feet,
Yeah, mine is
yes.
70
The garage
feet,
is
that's
Yes,
where
you're
we are.
right.
You said 1.5 per year?
It was right on the edge of Shore Acres. It was like 1 foot, 1.5 feet per year, so I sort of split the difference and said it's probably 1.25 in that area. So it should be about 50 feet.
50 feet, so the garage is out.
The garage is okay.
I apologize for that, I didn't put my line going all the way over.
Can I ask a question? If we built
but
it on
the
piers,
addition is gonna be in the ceiling.
if the addition was on piers, would that be all right then? As opposed to having a foundation?
I think it would be better.
I think the wind blows it away.
It's a little better.
Yeah, the lake will.
Well, it's certainly better, it will tend to survive better if it has water, the water can flood under it
Yeah.
rather than against.
Because there's
against block walls.
flooding issues and.
And I think your flood protection code also talks about having openings that can
Flood openings.
easily flood openings to allow flood waters freely pass through without tearing the building.
Those are all questions that are need to be dealt with on an architectural level.
Have you had high water issue? Yeah.
We just bought it in September.
Yes, we haven't even lived there yet.
Oh, you just.
It hasn't been,
Oh,
When do we get it? September? Plans also.
Well, you're gonna need it.
Yes.
Yeah, most of it didn't.
Today's elevation's 44.3. All of the Great Lakes are below long-term average.
You can see beach where you haven't been able to see it out there.
2017, 4.23.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lake Superior is over a foot low. All the Great Lakes are low. You got more beach.
I was out there today.
I wish it was that low 3 years ago when I did Route down Greece.
All right. Is there any other questions, statements for this? It's already scheduled.
It is the 21st, Tuesday the 21st.
We need a motion to put them on the agenda for next month. For this use and the discussions that we had, was it February 3rd? It's the next meeting. And you'll get your discussion in with zoning.
Make a motion that for Mr. John Dahl, 6314 Shore Acres Drive, be put on the next meeting there for the zoning.
Excuse me, his name is Dan. I told him to correct your name.
Sorry.
You call Don.
Sorry, Dan.
That's all right.
I apologize. Thank you.
Dan?
Oh, no, I mean, it was like, it's no big deal, I'm like, it is, it's legal stuff.
Dan,
Yeah, Daniel.
Based on the information provided to us.
Okay.
I have a question.
Dan Steigerwald?
When I was at your house to do
Law?
inspections, I give a
Dan
little
Martin?
doorbell, and I don't know how they work, so I
Yes.
push the button and nothing
Yes.
happened, and I talked to it.
Yes.
But I don't connect it. So I just, like, I talked to him, said, conservation board, I'm here to look, but I didn't know if anybody's ever been in. Because we're not, I assume it's moving now. So that was just there. Yes. Yeah, I don't quite know, so I don't quite know how they work.
Yeah, I have to get the survey here,
Yeah.
I'll create it, I guess, to show where the addition's gonna be. That's it.
The location of the addition, call out setbacks, that is to say, the distance from the edge of the proposed structure to the property lines.
Okay.
It does have it staked
I
out.
already have it
There was
staked
a-
out and
We had
marked
it
out.
staked out.
He doesn't need the description of the building when it's on here, is there, if it's a permanent structure?
That I will be discussing with the DEC tomorrow. Thank you.
As part of the definition of what CHAP is and was and what we're supposed to use, right? That's for sure. That's what I'm saying.
To define a hazard area and all that.
We get an extra notice message from 1988. Okay, so you'll
thanks
be
for
hearing
coming.
from me probably by late tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, so we can determine about movable versus non-movable.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay. Last item on the agenda,
Yes.
maybe? For Mr. Jeffrey Carpenter, 5848 West Potomac Beach Road, Conservation Florida Development Permit to install a generator. Just because everybody wants to go home will be nicer. Not really, it's just the way things, the coin drops, I guess. I guess there's some practical difficulty, and that's why we're here tonight, due to health concerns. We have somebody living in the,
Well, we have several problems there. Number one, the power's out constantly. And I've had 2 major surgeries and can't hold the cord and hold the portable generator out anymore. It's been 2 times since we purchased the permanent generator. Power's gone out twice, I've had to do that. We don't have the permanent generator, obviously. But I don't know what you're looking for, because I checked the online codes and I haven't seen anything about generators, and the permit itself doesn't help me either, because everything.
Well, you need, it has to be, it has to be, more than 100 feet from the lake, which it's not. So that's why you're here for this.
Right, well, that's what I was looking for in the
Yeah.
codes.
And then, it's, well, you have to look under conservation corridor developments, or then you have to look under CHA. And then CHA, you are in that.
So I'd have to hire an attorney.
No, we're making this easy, so
Okay,
you're.
but anyway,
Yeah,
that's
you're
the
coming here,
situation.
you're coming here for today, and then, which would have been a more lengthy time, but I mean, it was practical difficulty for you guys. So that on Tuesday the 21st, you'll come to zoning and then you'll. You have put everything in there, yes. As far as I'm concerned, in my condition, yes. Yes. That's why I moved it around a little bit. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Although I think it will have to be stated in the motion that, while they're going to make a motion on this permit, it can't be solidified until in 2 weeks, we get the CHA permit. Just to cover our bases of how we
with the meetings.
Is it 100 foot from the water's edge? Or is there setback?
It's 100 feet from the water's, not even the water's edge, it's from where the rocks start.
What rocks?
Yes, so
Well, that's a dilemma too, because
That is
I
permitted.
put the rocks in on an old boat launch for the DEC, so you have to go down. Add that part on.
right.
You guys have any comments?
Trying to make head or tails of this aerial versus
I think on the east side, there are some logs or wood.
It's like cords of wood.
Yeah,
Are
and
there
that's
wood?
gonna-
Oh, yes.
and that's gonna be removed. Yeah, those cords
It
will
has
be
been
removed.
from the
Okay.
area that it's going to, where the generator is going to be, we cleared out the wood.
So how many feet is it from the,
It was like 97,
97
but they still have I know, it's so close and yet so far.
yeah, but
But
where,
they-
yeah,
Does the
but
code define the boulders, or what is it?
I'm gonna talk to DEC.
Usually it's defined by the ordinary high water level,
Yeah.
which is, there's a discrete number for the ordinary high water.
but the generator is another 24.3 feet. What's the 97.7 feet go from?
It goes from the,
It looks like the right of way
It
to
comes from the boat ramp.
the right of way. It appears to me.
yeah, I had the DEC look at this also.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the scale of the drawing.
Right.
It appears to be 20 scale.
Well, they're going before zoning anyway, but
Yeah,
and we can prove it based on zoning.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, Steve.
based on where it's shown in the plan.
Yeah, I would guess it's approximately 80, 85 feet from the edge of the water.
It's a type 2 action, it's a generator. That's all I've got.
So we can safely have a secret determination.
I believe so. Right now.
Right, now's the time to strike. Sure. Steve?
No issues.
Okay.
Good. 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 So, could somebody on this side of the room? Sure. Go for a motion.
I'll make a motion for Jeffrey Carpenter, 5848 West of Temple Beach Road, for the application for a electric generator. And it's a type 2 negative declaration seeker.
Sharon Steigerwald.
Yes.
Steve Law.
Yes.
Ray Martin. Chris Slider. James Nesbitt.
Yes.
Ed Nelson.
So,
Thank you very much.
please go forward.
Wait a minute.
Just wait a minute.
Wait. Can't we approve it based on the zoning board, the zoning board?
Yeah.
Based
Yeah,
on-
we didn't do that.
No, I don't know if they wanted to, if it's okay with the attorney. Subject to,
What Steve said.
all right, there you go. That's why there's more than one member on the sitting at the table. Okay, I'd like to make a motion for approval. What did you say? What did I say?
Based on final approval.
Based on final approval from the zoning board for Jeffrey Carpenter and 5848 West Potomac Beach Road, we'll get a nice new generator. Full votes.
Okay, Sharon Steigerwald.
Yes.
Steve Law.
Yeah.
Dave Martin.
Chris Slider.
Chris Slider. He doesn't look at it, but, James Nesbitt. And Nelson,
Good news, then, they're loving it, right?
So you're all set, you have to go to the zoning board because of the variances,
So we're all good?
then they'll know you're coming.
Zoning board says yes, you can put a generator in the next day.
Yes. Are we, then we're all set with all we have to do?
you had to come back to the
Right.
zoning board, but
Yes.
yes.
7 o'clock.
Yes,
Then
7
we
o'clock on
have
the
the date.
Tuesday, the 21st. I'll send you the, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. You got papers?
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
Have a cookie or brownie.
Well, those are
We're
for-
low on
those are
sugar
for
these
everybody.
days. We did our sugar.
Just so you're all notified, there's something wrong with the oatmeal.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the oatmeal cookies, just in case there was something.
Janine, anything new on that?
Well, we didn't have a meeting in December much like you did, because we didn't have anything on our agenda, so, I'm just waiting to hear whether, we're gonna get another conservation board member, or whether, that will not be filled, I don't know, I haven't heard. But one of our members, resigned at the end of the year.
Any conversation by the board on
Not really.
that? You got a lot of stuff on your plate,
Yeah,
the other night?
we've been kind of busy the last 2 or 3 weeks, and Christmas and everything. It's on the agenda for January, for discussion.
Anything else?
No, not right at this time.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second, third,
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Jake, please.